Hey everybody, welcome back. This is HD and it is time for another daily ladder. That's right, it is currently February 15th of 2011 and I know I've been saying that I would do my daily ladders every day as much as possible, try to do them Monday through Thursday. That was my original schedule. Unfortunately, it hasn't fallen, the dominoes haven't fallen the way I've wanted them to. I've been really busy. In fact, this is my first ladder game that I've played in about a week. So, if you guys have me on buddy list, if you guys go idle in my channel, it's HD StarCraft, by the way. If you guys have me on your buddy list, and you guys will probably notice that I haven't played any games at all for about a week. I have been very busy. And so, this is going to be my first Zerg vs. Terran game that I've played. In fact, first StarCraft 2 game that I played in quite a while, and I just got done playing this matchup. Now, it is going to be a Zerg vs. Terran. It is going to be on Delta Quadrant. As you guys, I am the blue Zerg here at the bottom left-hand corner. And of course, all my daily ladders are always in first-person view. Now, this week I do want to go ahead and try to get as many daily ladders as I can out. I want to try to go ahead and get at least 4 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Seeing as how it's already Tuesday, I guess I'll have to make 2 to make up for that. And of course, as you guys know, I have been making as many pro games as possible just to supplement and make sure that you guys aren't always watching me play. If you guys are always watching me play, it's really boring and stale, and I'm not that good. So, bottom line is, I'm going to try to go ahead and mix it up, keep some variety coming, and of course, always uploading as many good games as I can possibly find. So this is going to be a ZVT, of course, first-person view. This is me, the blue Zerg in the bottom left-hand corner. My opponent is going to be Ace. And if you guys remember, he is the Terran player. He actually said, good luck, have fun, no thanks. Which, I've never got a message like that before. Usually you'll get something like, good luck, have fun, GG, you know, well played, things like that, good luck, have fun, are you HD? I get that a lot too. So, I've never got the no thanks, so I was like, what does that mean? And I want to go ahead and ask him, what do you mean, no thanks? I didn't even say good luck, have fun yet. So, maybe he doesn't want my wish of good luck. Maybe he just doesn't care. But either way, hopefully this is going to be a good game. I am going to go ahead and throw down a 14 hatchery. 14 hatchery, of course, meaning you throw down your hatchery as early as possible. And this is really the safest time you can throw a hatchery down and still have a good amount of economy as well as an early spawning pool to defend in case your opponent tries to attack you. So I am going to throw down the hatchery at the open natural, and the one thing you do have to be careful about going for 14 hatch against Terran is if they go for 2 barracks. 2 barracks is when they throw down 2 barracks at their front door and they pump up a bunch of Marines and then they just bum rush you, which really sucks, especially if they pull SCVs. That's when it becomes the Foxer, named after Foxer, a very good South Korean player in StarCraft 2 who loves to pull his SCVs with his Marines and basically all-ins you. But yeah, this is going to be an early hatchery. I can see my opponent is throwing down a second barracks, but it's not the 2 racks you would expect. 2 racks meaning 2 barracks. It's not the early 2 barracks where they throw it around the 2-minute mark. He actually threw down 1 barracks and then he threw down the second barracks a little bit afterwards. So I'm not too concerned about any kind of an early bum rush. I think that my 14 hatch is good. I am, of course, going to get 3 drones on my gas, and I want to get that speed upgrade as soon as possible. The speedling upgrade is going to be absolutely vital to dealing with any kind of marine rush, any kind of marine combined attack with, say, Hellions, anything like that. You need Zergling speed. Zergling speed is absolutely essential in Zerg vs. Terran. So make sure with your first 100 gas, you're going to go ahead and click the Zergling speed button. Now, as you guys can see, I'm not too spammy with my APM right now. I'm not like jumping around the map or anything like that. A lot of times when you guys watch replays of players in a higher rank than you, for example, right now I am in Masters. I'm actually glad I'm still in Masters. I thought for sure I would have decayed and my rank would have dropped since I hadn't played for a week, but I still am in Masters. What I wanted to say is if you watch a higher ranked player, you'll often notice that they'll have a lot more actions than you, and that's something you want to practice over time. It definitely takes practice. Don't force it though. Don't just spam click as many things as possible. That's what I used to do, and I thought it was cool, but it actually doesn't really help all that much. You really want to focus on your effective actions per minute. Now, going back to the game, as you guys can see, I did scout out my opponent had a tech lab and a reactor on his 2 barracks. Now, for me as a Zerg player, I faced off this kind of strategy many times. A lot of times, this can mean your opponent is going for a 3 barracks attack. So I am going to throw up a Baneling's Nest just to be safe. I'm going to poke my Zergling in one more time. Lo and behold, there's the 3rd barracks. I actually didn't really need to scout the 3rd barracks out. Just seeing a tech lab and a reactor on 2 of the front barracks is already enough to tell me that it's most likely, rather than not, some kind of a 3 barracks timing push. And I came to that conclusion just through practice, you know. How often do you see a Terran player going for 2 barracks to get reactor, to get tech lab? What other things could they be going for? It's usually not a factory. It's usually not some kind of an expo build. It's some kind of a 3 barracks attack. And it looks like my opponent's even pulling his Marines away, maybe just so he can hide his Marines, but also maybe because he's trying to destroy his backdoor rocks. So I'm going to move my Overlord in, and there, as you guys can see, he was indeed destroying his own backdoor rocks. So it looks like it may be some kind of a delayed 3 barracks push. He originally wants to take out his back rocks, and then he's going to push me. So I'm going to go ahead and move my Lings around, maybe do some damage to my rocks, but I make sure you're able to defend when he does move out. And indeed, it looks like he is going to be moving out now. Now, the thing about this is he's either going to have stim or shields. It's one or the other. Usually it's going to be stim. And you have to be able to engage on the creep. That's where your Banelings, that's where all your Speedlings are going to get the most benefit in terms of terrain. They're going to be able to surround the Marines, they're going to be able to get around, and they're of course going to be able to kill that large Marine army off. So it looks like he is going to push forward here. I am going to try to engage here. I don't want to lose my Overlord. So what you want to do here is surround the Marines with your Speedlings. Don't allow him to run back, and then allow your Banelings to get in range to take out those packed up and clumped Marines. And as you guys can see, the Banelings getting in and doing the work they need to do. And so that was a successful defense on my part when it came to defending that kind of a Marine attack. So I'm honestly feeling pretty good right now. I think I was able to defend that attack pretty well. Of course, I lost most of my Lings and my Banelings, but those are easily replenishable. The important thing is I was able to not allow any drones to die. I was able to defend. I didn't lose any Overlords, maybe one. I didn't lose any drones, so that's good. And of course, I didn't lose my hatchery. Now, as you guys know, he did kill off his backdoor rocks, so it's possible he's got a command center there. In fact, looking at the minimap, it looks like he does have a little red blob there. So, as always, when you're Zerg, you want to have an extra expansion over your opponent if they're Terran or Protoss. And I'm going to try to take out those backdoor rocks on my 3rd and try to take over that expansion as quickly as possible. And so I have all my Lings kind of surrounding the rocks. They're all doing the mass attack, and they're going to try to take that down as quickly as possible. And it looks like my Overlord right there just scouted that he's just now building his command center. So I'm still quite a bit ahead. Things are looking pretty good for me. And it looks like he may actually try to make another attack here. So he was moving his Marines across to the center of the map. It looks like he is going to start encroaching onto my creep. And this is where you just want to defend one more time. The second time typically will be easier than the first, depending how many drones you lost. I didn't lose any, so the second time should be much easier. All I have to do is wait until he gets close to the creep, run my Lings in, do the same maneuvering that I did in the first big battle. So here we go. It looks like I'm going to be able to move my Lings in, and my Banelings going straight for those clumped up Marines. My opponent was able to split his Marines somewhat, but at the end of the day, there's just way too many Lings and Banelings. It's not possible for a Terran player to micro against that many, and it's going to cost him pretty badly because he lost that many Marines twice in a row. Honestly, if you're a Terran player and you lose that first wave, if you're going to make a second attack, a second wave, hold that thought for a second. You guys can see my opponent just comsatted me, and I did throw down a Spire right when he comsatted me. So what I'm going to do here is cancel this Spire. This is just more mind games, more playing against my opponent. Obviously, he scanned my my Spire. He's going to throw up turrets. Why not cancel the Spire, force him to invest a good 500, 700 minerals into turrets, and then go for a different strategy. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cancel the Spire. I'm going to try for a different composition of units. Now, what I wanted to say was, if you're a Terran player and your first wave fails, the second wave has to be either all in or nothing. You can't go for a second wave. Your opponent's going to be ahead of you if you didn't kill any drones. If you're going to go for a second wave of Marines, pull your SCVs, pull them all. If you don't, might as well just stay back and not attack, in my opinion, because the Zerg player, more often than not, is going to be able to defend against that, and then you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So as you guys can see, it looks like Ace, I believe my opponent's name was Ace, he threw up a bunch of turrets around his natural, and I'm sure he's got a bunch more at his main. So right off the bat, because I canceled my Spire, because he scanned it, I canceled it, he thinks there's mutas coming, but when in reality there's absolutely no mutalisk whatsoever. So he's already investing himself into defenses, base structures that aren't going to have any effect whatsoever against the units that I'm going to be fielding. And I'm actually going to try a strategy that's not been used lately. It was used quite a bit in the beta. This is going to be pure Ling Infestor. This is actually inspired by none other than the Little One, one of the Zerg strategies, one of the Zerg compositions that work quite well against Terrans. Rather than just Baneling Muta, it's just pure Ling Infestor. You spend all your minerals into Zerglings, and you spend all your gas into Infestors. And the reason why it's good is because Fungal Growth is one of the most powerful spells. It's really underutilized, but it's very, very powerful against clumps of Terran bio. And you really can use that against Hellions as well. You can even use Infestors against air, like dropships and Vikings, by Fungal Growth and locking them down and then spawning infested Terrans. So this is actually a very powerful strategy, especially considering the fact that my opponent thinks there's mutas coming. He's probably going to invest in more anti-air. Maybe he's going to get Vikings. There's so many things right here that are going to work great for me, based on just simply him scanning the Spire and then me canceling it and then building a completely different building. So as you guys can see, I'm just working on my macro right now. This is really the Zerg's kind of heaven. If the Terran's not going to attack, then just build up, just get a bunch of hatcheries. I have my 4th hatchery coming up at the gold. I have a total of 5 hatcheries. There's my auxiliary hatchery and my natural. And my Terran opponent is still on 1 base. One extra base, excuse me. So he's on 2 bases total. He really doesn't have as much of an economy as me. It looks like he does have Blue Flame Hellions here, and I'm gonna go ahead and try to get rid of these Blue Flame Hellions as quickly as possible. They're really quite pesky. You don't want to deal with them in the late game. And I was able to take them out very easily. And here we go. I'm going to get a free passage into my opponent's main because his supply depot was lowered. My Banelings are going to run in here, and whoop-de-doo, I'm going to go straight for the natural expansion where the SCVs are hiding. And hey, I'm going to go hunting for SCVs. So there we go. My opponent was trying to flee his SCVs, and whenever you're facing against any kind of an AoE damage unit, such as Banelings or Hellions, you really don't want to run your workers. This goes for all races because they clump up, makes it much easier for them to kind of die in a mass graveyard. So that was kind of brutal for my opponent. He just lost about, I'd say, 15 SCVs, about maybe 10 to 15, and that's just going to put me a little bit further ahead in this game. In StarCraft, all about building up small advantages in the early to the mid to the late, and then capitalizing on that towards the end. So as you guys can see, I do have my first couple of Infestors out. I do eventually want to tech up to Ultralisk. This is actually the benefit of going for Ling Infestors, is you share the same upgrades, that your Lings and your Ultras share the same upgrades, and you can get up to Hive really quickly because you're not investing so much into Mutalisks. So you can get up to Hive very, very easily. It looks like my opponent is going to move in with Blue Flame Hellions once again, and this is the beauty of the Infestor. Easily takes out the Blue Flame Hellions with 1 Fungal Growth, and then you can surround with your Lings and Banelings and take it out almost instantly. So that's all going to work in my favor, obviously taking out those Blue Flame Hellions, building up the advantages, and honestly right now I was just kind of chilling. I'm thinking right now that I have a pretty sizable lead. Keep building hatcheries, and eventually you're going to be able to barrel down that front door and end the game. Unless, of course, my Terran opponent can come up with some kind of a miracle comeback, some kind of a miracle move. And honestly, it's very, very difficult to do if the momentum is swinging this hugely in my favor. Unless he's got some kind of a hidden base somewhere, I think I've got this pretty locked down. But I don't want to overcommit. A lot of times players will overcommit. They'll say, oh, I got this game won. And they just throw all their forces in, and then they end up losing. Which, it happens. It happens a lot more often than not. So you really want to be careful. Don't overcommit until you're absolutely sure that you have the game in the bag. And yeah, I'm just going to continue to build up my army. I'm a little bit disappointed with my my macro. I feel like I should have a maxed army by now. But am going to try this kind of a sneaky strategy. I thought of this. Why not go for Overlord drop? Obviously, I can't drop Banelings because there's so many missile turrets. My Overlord will probably get picked off. But what I can try is to drop an Infestor or two. So I'm going to go ahead and drop a couple Infestors on this ledge and see how this works out. I'm going to Fungal Growth the SCVs, and it actually takes 2 Fungals to kill off SCVs because they have 45 HP, I believe. So yeah, 1 more Fungal Growth will finish him off. That's going to kill off a ton of SCVs. And my opponent there says, holy crap, wow. And I guess he wasn't too happy about seeing his SCVs getting basically vomited on by some ugly blue-green things on his ramp. So there goes second Fungo to finish off that pack of SCVs. And that's going to make my opponent have a very, very bad day, as I think he probably lost pretty much all of his minerals. So here's where I'm going to pump all my ultras. I feel like I've got this game in the bag. I think I can eventually push out and end it. I don't think my opponent nearly has the economy he needs to really withstand another attack. And it looks like my opponent's actually going to be the one who pushes forward. He knows he's at a critical point. He's got to try to win this game right here, right now. But if you're going to push forward, you got to be careful about that fungal growth. Spamming that green vomit down is going to lock down all those all those Marines and Hellions. And then my Banelings and Lings can easily run in and clean up the mess that's left behind. And like I said before, you can use Infested Terrans to take out the dropships. So that's going to be GG. I hope you guys enjoyed this broadcast. This is once again a daily ladder. I'm going to try to get back on schedule and do at least one a day, Monday through Thursday. And yeah, I think that's pretty much going to be it for me. Oh, happy Valentine's Day for all of you guys who had a Valentine's yesterday. And if you guys didn't have a Valentine's, no problem at all. You guys can always chill on the HD StarCraft channel. I was actually there yesterday, I think, talking to a couple of people. So yeah, that's it for me. My ultras are out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And we're going to have, of course, more daily ladders and pro games coming up soon. I guess we'll go ahead and check out this guy's rank before I close the video out. View profile, his name was Ace, and his rank was Masters. And it was 2700-ish. So there we go. HD signing out.